Hello, everyone. Sorry we're starting a little bit late, but welcome to the second panel in the Storyteller series here at Cleveland State University. Today's panel, or this hour's panel, is Shooting the Story, the Production Process. So for aspiring filmmakers out there, we're going to pick the brains of our esteemed filmmakers here today on the panel. I will start with a brief introduction of each of them, and then I'm going to let them fill in many blanks that I'm sure that I'm leaving there. Bad English. Okay. On farthest from me is Kenji Yamamoto. He is the producer and editor of Trust, Second Acts, and Young Lives, which is, by the way, showing at 2:10 today, which is, of course, during our panel. So I'm going to let him describe. I'm going to let him describe his film first after I go through the introductions, and if you want to run out and see it, you'll still have that opportunity. The film is a feature-length documentary about Chicago's Albany Park Theater Project, which is an immigrant youth theater company that creates original plays based on member stories and lives. He's also been the co-producer, co-director, cinematographer, and editor of the documentary short from 2005 entitled Smitten. He's associate producer and editor of Downside Up from 2002, and he was producer and editor of the 1991 film Thousand Pieces of Gold. Seated next to Kenji, is Bob King. He's the director of 818. It's a feature-length.
818.
Oh, 818. Sorry, 818. The one thing I didn't ask. Yeah.
It's the area code.
It's the area. The 818. Feature-length comedy about a has-been TV star whose career gets a boost when she is accused of murdering her husband. Bob is also, by the way, it plays today at 5:50 if you want to catch that. It also plays tomorrow at 2:30. Bob is also the director of Psycho Beach Party from 2000 and 1994's The Disco Years. He was the producer, director, and writer. And he was also the writer of Slap Her, She's French from 2002.
Yes. That was me.
You know, I actually had a dentist appointment before this, and I had my clipboard there going over my notes, and the receptionist laughed at that title too. She loved it. You know, so. Okay.
I think we saw the movie 3 times based on that title, and then someone finally made it and changed the title.
Oh,
but
for
anyway,
US, yeah. Lisa Shockett is 2 seats away from me. She is the producer of 818. She was also. I was thinking I'm going to get this right this time, and I did.
You got Shockett right. That's a miracle.
Yeah, Lisa Shockett was the tough one, but she is the producer of 818. She was also the producer of 2010's Irreversi. She was the producer of Wei Lu. Okay, and producer of The Curiosity of Chance in 2006. And she was also at the 2007 Cleveland International Film Festival with that film. She's also the producer of countless TV sports productions for ESPN, national syndication, and regional sports channels. And finally, to my right, is Danielle Wilmouth. She is the director of Eleanor and the Timekeeper. This film marks her first feature film and first documentary. It's a documentary about 91-year-old Eleanor, who moves her developmentally disabled son into a group home after 64 years of dedicating her life to him. She was also the producer and director of the experimental short A Heretic's Primer on Love and Exertion, the producer and director of the experimental short Round from 2002, the first one was from 2007, and then producer and director of the experimental short Curtain of Eyes from 1997. So let me start with Kenji. You can go ahead and fill any details in about the film or anything else that I may have left out in terms of your experience. And then we'll just move right down the line.
Well, let's see. Trust is a story, documentary about this theater company. It's a teenage theater company, and they have this open door policy. As long as you walk in the door and you keep going to the theater company, you're a company member. There are no requirements. It's based in Chicago, in the Albany Park area, which is northwest section of Chicago. And my wife, the director, and I were very interested in this theater because what they do is that they make plays generated by the stories that the kids tell. And we saw a play there that was so amazing and so adult-like. It was unlike any kind of community theater that we had ever seen. So with their permission, we decided to track some of these kids that we were following. Well, 6 years later, we had followed 4 different stories, and each one had failed in some way to come to some conclusion. And in our 6th year, after shooting 140 hours of material, we were in front of this young woman from Honduras, and she told a story that was so amazing and so tragic that we discarded 5 years of material, and we said, this is the story that we wanted to make. So it's showing in 10 minutes, so you can go to the theater and see it, and eventually we'll get it on broadcast or other means.
And did you mention it's playing in Chicago as well?
And it'll be playing at the Talking Pictures Film Festival in Chicago next month, at the end of this month, excuse me. So it'll be in about 3 weeks.
Boy. I thought we had a long post-production. That's amazing. The only thing I would add is that the Disco Years, the short that I made in 1994, was actually subsequently combined with 2 other shorts and released as Boys Life, which was the first of, I think they're on Boys Life 7 for Strand, and they're all. I made this short because I didn't want anyone to grow up the way I did, and basically back then when you saw movies about gay people, most of them were suicidal art students, you know, who didn't end well, I'm just saying. And I really think gay people are heroes. Gay people who survived childhood are heroes. And I started writing this very precious piece, and I realized, and they applied heroism to it. And so it was this movie that you could watch and be gay and feel better after you saw the movie than you did when you went in. And it took about 6 months. They had my movie and they had Brian Sloan's movie that we played the festival circuit together, and he found Strand. And then they had to find another movie where you didn't feel worse after watching it. And that took about 6 months, and they found a 3rd movie and they put them together, and it's Boys Life. And really that is all the Boys Life movies are pretty much of that ilk, but you know, it just goes to show you how far we've come. So it's Boys Life and the Disco Years. That's a long explanation.
Okay.
Yeah. And what do we want to say about?
Talk about 818.
818 is a dark comedy about an actress played by a not very actressy actress, and it's a fun ride. It's not your typical festival fare. It is a kind of a dark comedy about a anti-hero who does terrible things, and somehow you love her. Or they seemed to yesterday, and it was packed at, you know, Friday at 11:30, which that's a film festival, right? I mean, how great is Cleveland to embrace movies the way they do during this time, and it's very exciting to be here.
Thank you. Lisa?
Well, the only thing I would add to that is that, you know, we all see studio comedies, and I think they feel a little predictable, fun. I love going to see studio comedies, but I think I expect where to laugh, and I think I know what's coming, and I kind of go in expecting a certain thing, and I leave, hopefully, you know, at least getting that. But what I love about independent film and independent comedy is that you walk into a theater and expect to be surprised, maybe expect to be poked in a way that you didn't expect to be, or, you know, thought-provoking, expect to laugh in a different way, maybe laugh at something that is inappropriate, but still funny. Sometimes I think the best comedy does that, and I think that's what 818 does. And that's what I love about this festival, is that it programs movies that you don't get to see everywhere. And this being my 2nd time at the festival, it's great to see packed houses and to see the festival program 150 movies of stuff that you can't see at your, you know, typical multiplex. So, you know, the crowds have been great here, the audiences have been great, and it's rewarding when you spend as much time as Bob and I did on this film to see people finally embrace it. So that's been great.
Thank you. And finally, Danielle?
Well, I guess the only things I would add to what you said about Eleanor and the Timekeeper is the film is about my grandmother. My grandmother is Eleanor, and her son, my uncle Ronnie, and Eleanor is now 94, but when I started to make the film, she was 85. And it just chronicles a 7-year period in their lives where she was trying to decide whether or not to move him into a group home, and then finding the group home, him moving out, and how the two of their lives change after living separately for the first time in 64 years. And it's showing tomorrow, Sunday at 5 p.m.
So please, please do see it. And it just goes to show you how long from concept of a film it can take until it's actually being screened. So don't think you're going to come up with an idea for a film and next year it's going to be playing somewhere.
Well,
That's probably not
oddly
the
enough,
case.
that actually can. Psycho Beach Party happened really fast.
Oh.
I think if you divide how long we all thought our movies would take to make with how long they actually took to make, it's probably about, I'm going to say 7 years to 1. We probably thought it would take 2 years. It took 5 or something. How long do you think your movie was
I thought it
going
would
to take?
take 6.
6? Oh, well, that's, yeah.
But it took.
Because I thought it was going to be a 5-year chronicle when I started, but then it turned into a 7-year chronicle. So I thought it would take 6, but it ended up taking closer to 9.
Awesome.
Yeah. By the way,
And we know you're 6 to...
Yes,
Yeah.
my first feature took us 7 years.
I think docs are different though, because I think you need time to cover the
Right.
material that you're
But
looking
my first
to
film
cover.
was a dramatic film.
And how long did that take?
It took me 7 years.
Well, then there you go. I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it
This
really
is very
depends.
encouraging.
I actually have a
for-
dramatic
I
film
know.
that's in its 20th year of development.
Sometimes it doesn't take that long to shoot.
Right.
I think you have to allow time to write a script and get a script in the right place to shoot it. And sometimes you feel like you can just shoot it after a first or second draft, but it takes a long time to get the script ready. And sometimes to shoot it, like we shot our script in 20 days, so it didn't take long to shoot it, but it took long to get the script ready to shoot. And then after we shot it, it took a really long time to finish it in post. So those are some of the tricks you may not be aware of.
What? By the way, I should say the guy who keeps screwing up the 818 up there. My name is James Denny. I didn't give my name, and I don't have a bubble. I teach here at Cleveland State in media and film. So just so you know, when you go out here, you can say, that James Denny guy's the one who kept screwing up the name of Lisa and Bob's movie.